Welcome to More Action, the podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals. I'm your host, Shelly Bryan, and together we have candid conversations with industry leaders to uncover valuable wisdom and lessons learned. My hope is you use these lessons to intentionally take more action in business and life. I hope you share and enjoy. I hope you're ready for it. This is part 2 of the things that I've learned since now being blind for 20 years. If you hadn't tuned in to part 1, I definitely encourage you go back, listen to part 1. But October marked 20 years of me losing the sight in my left eye. This happened when I was 24 years old. I go into it in part 1 of this episode. I share even more about it back on in episode 2. I'll link both of those in the show notes here. But part 1, I'm going to give you the 5 things that I have learned over the last 20 years relating to losing the sight in my eye. And then today is the other 5. So 10 total. I have more, but I really wanted to just get it down to the most, really the most impactful lessons, the most impactful things that I've learned since going blind, since, I wasn't born this way. And then having this happen for me has really changed my life. And just to give you like a brief overview of the first 5, and these are not in priority order at all. These are just 10 things, 10 lessons that I've learned. And so the first one, health is everything. Absolutely will die on this because it is so important. If your health is faltering in any way, you are not going to be able to perform. Your body is not going to be able to sustain all the things that you want to do in your life. And so I'm so passionate about health is everything. I go more into that on on part 1 of this 2-part series. The second thing was be your best advocate. It is up to you. I talk about transferring this from your health over to your career, about being your best advocate. The next one, do not let others' judgment have any effect on you. None. I share a really personal example of what happened to me when I went blind and after coming back from being in the hospital, being off of work, and what was said to me. The fourth one is it's your choice. You can be a victim or you can be a victor, but ultimately it comes down to choice and you are in control of it. And then number 5, again, no priority order, but that you can do more with less. And I talk about gratitude. I may or may not have cried in this episode when I first shared about it, but you can do more with less and just really embracing gratitude, not like the way that we hear about it, like the gratitude journal, just the smallest things that we can be grateful for every single day. All right. If we are not connected, I'm about ready to share kind of the other 5 things. So 10 total that I have taken over the last 20 years of going blind in my left eye. And I know that 10 years from now, 1 year from now, I'm still going to have so many more lessons that I can be able to share on this because it's not going away. My sight is never coming back. I can't believe it. I remember when October hit, here we are, like, holy cow, it has been 20 years. It's mind blowing. So I hope that we are connected on social. I share a lot of these lessons, a lot of other lessons on Instagram as well as LinkedIn. And then come over and subscribe on YouTube. You can watch the episodes there as well as a lot of different content that I share on the other social channels. And that is going to be growing. I'm having a lot of fun over on YouTube, actually. Okay, so let's dive in here because I want to make sure that I share the lessons and the stories behind these lessons because I think stories are what helps us remember. And my goal is that by me sharing these, that they help you, or maybe they're shared to someone else and they help someone else. And so the first one comes all about sharing. This is number 6, is sharing your weakness, or for me, your disability, with those who support you. So I have talked about this tirelessly about in corporate America. I always felt like it was a weakness. It was seen as a weakness for me to share anything that maybe I wasn't good at, or asking for help. That was a weakness in corporate, right? They would look at you and be like, oh, you can't do your job. And I can tell you that losing my eyesight has really helped me understand that actually sharing weaknesses, sharing any challenges, sharing a disability like being blind in one eye is actually a sign of strength, because I understand my limitations. I know what I can and can't do. There are certain things, like, for example, playing catch with my kids. I don't have depth perception anymore. And so Chris, obviously, he's been my biggest advocate, my biggest supporter. That's, I mean, something, he loves doing with the kids. I will go out and watch. But you know what I asked him to stop doing was asking me to join in, because I knew, like, you see like the cartoons where they like fully throw something and you just miss it, I just physically cannot catch without the depth perception. And every time Chris would be like, come on, play with us, play with us. I didn't want to do it. It made me uncomfortable because I would miss, and then I would always have to pick it up and throw it. And it wasn't fun. But you know what was fun? Was just being with them. And so it was like saying even to Chris, like, hey, I know you have the best intentions and you want me to join in, and most everything else I do, but like, I need you to actually stop asking me to join in to playing catch with the kids. It's something we do in our backyard. Even Reese does it. We all do it. It's fun. I love to sit and watch and joke with them and plan with them, because we're always like, how do we get dad? And sharing that weakness with him, he didn't understand it from my perspective. And that's where I feel like when you have something that is a weakness, and whether you're trying to gain that skill or correct or strengthen a weakness, you got to share it with those that are around you that are going to support you. So I hope that you know this. If we're connected on social media, I also show horses competitively. Think Yellowstone. I'm showing in a Western event. It's called reining. And as you can imagine, I've been riding horses since I was 5 years old. And obviously have both my eyes. At 24, losing my eyesight 20 years ago now, holy crap, that's crazy, is working with my horse trainer. Because the hardest thing for me, literally the physically hardest thing for me, losing my eyesight, yes, I can't catch, but the main thing it affected was my riding, because the sport that I do is a very physical sport. It's not just sitting on the horse. It's a very physical sport for the rider and the horse. And there were certain things I had to relearn how to do. And so right now with my trainer, I've told her in certain things, I'm like, hey, I know my body is doing this to compensate for my eyesight. And so my horse is feeling certain things. And so I'll be like, hey, I need you to remind me, or I think I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works. What do you think? Being able to work with my coach. And while I get it, not everyone rides horses. I totally get it. What I'm saying is that if you have a business coach, if you have a mentor, if you have a group of people that support you, challenge you, share your weakness with them. They will be there. The right ones will, and you'll find out really quick who is a good person that's on your support team and who is actually waiting for you to fail. Going to my coach, I'm going to say coach, my trainer, my horse trainer, and sharing some of these challenges that I have with her. She's able to help coach me even better when I'm on the horse. And so no longer, and I have absolutely done other episodes on this, where I feel like sharing your weakness and or disability is actually a sign of strength, because I know what my weakness is. And some things in business, for example, like financials, I need to know enough, but I don't need to be the expert. That is a weakness for me. I'm going to bring on someone on our team to help in that area. And then I need to make sure that that person can also explain and bring the ideas down so everybody that's involved with the decision-making process can understand. And so that's just like my eye constantly reminds me that it's okay to share a weakness. It's not okay to let it stop you from taking action. Notice how I never let it stop me from taking action, but it was how I was able to share it with other people so they could understand my perspective. And then they could also coach me up to a better level. If I kept that to myself, there would be lots of struggles. So the next one, and this is one I would say, in part one of this two-part series, I definitely talked about more, but it is that your mindset is truly your most powerful weapon. 100% when this happened to me, it took me out. I shared this on the previous episode. You bet there was a lot of why me. I was 24 years old. I had my full life ahead of me. I thought I was invincible. Again, 24 years old. You're just getting started in your career. I just started a new career at 24. I just got engaged to the love of my life. We're about ready to celebrate 20 years. It's crazy. It's all these incredible things were going on. And then the wind got taken out of my sail. And in that moment, when I was in the valley, when I was the victim there for a little bit, I realized that number one, it's up to me how I want to move forward. And that the thing that was holding me back and keeping me down was my mindset. So that mindset and understanding your mindset, I talk about this like the infinite game with Simon Sinek. Even I'm just learning more about Sam Zell, and he's a real estate billionaire, and having a beginner's mindset. Like your mindset, the way that you interpret experiences can either be a powerful weapon for you or against you. And so wherever you have opportunities, which let me just be quite clear, that's every single day, to understand your mindset and how you're perceiving different things that are going on throughout your day, it is something that you can change, you can evolve, you can grow. It comes with a lot of reflection. For me, God had to take me down by losing one of my eyes. And that helped me understand exactly what my mindset is and what I wanted it to be. And am I done even 20 years later? Hell no. Right now, I can feel like an incredible period of growth in my mindset, which then hits me personally, professionally, relationships, everything. I feel it. It's interesting what I'm reading, how I'm digesting it, the questions I'm asking, the people I'm coming in contact with. But it all came back to my mindset. And I'm using my mindset, the growth, the beginner, the infinite mindset to be able to reach new levels. And it's a fun reminder. Like, honestly, I know I talked about this before, but this happened for me. I wasn't there in the beginning, right? This happened for me. And so that actually brings me to number 8, is that let your test be your testimony. So what I mean by that is share your story. Do you know in the last, month, I've been interviewed on no less than, I think, 10 podcasts, all business related. Some are in the AEC industry, so the architecture, engineering, and construction industry, because that's the business that Chris and I have, and some are outside. But every single one, I have shared what happened to me with my eye from my health. I'm giving them number 1. So from the first part 1 episode, definitely go back and listen to it, just about health and how literally your health is so important to all the things that you want to do. And it's not about changing who you are. It's about elevating the game in which you play when it comes to your health. And so I look at that, and even speaking engagements that I have, I share this because I'm speaking with business owners, entrepreneurs, career-driven professionals, is that I share what happened to me. So if I kept this to myself, I can't even tell you. I had a friend, so crazy. I had a friend that was traveling with her family, And I had shared what happened to me. Again, I go into this more in part one. I don't want to belabor it again for you. So go back and listen to that. But how this virus came out and what happened with my eye. And I share about it. I talk about it. I talk about friends in business. I talk about it everywhere. And she was traveling across country. And all of a sudden, she actually had some medical things come up. And she was like, this is weird. She was fortunate enough to find the right doctor that actually she had the same thing as me. And it showed up as lesions near her eye. I never had any lesions, but if she hadn't gotten help and known my story, she wouldn't have been able to like understand what it was and to be able to take action. And she could be blind like me too right now. And so the more that I can share this, the more people I feel like I'm saving, whether it's saving them from going blind like me or saving them maybe from losing their marriage. Maybe it's saving them from not being healthy enough to play with their kids or to live out their dreams. Is that sharing your testimony, share your challenges. The more that I can share this story of what happened for me with losing my eye and how I have been able to grow and change from it and evolve, I truly feel I am saving people. And so you're going to hear me talk about this forever. I'm never going to stop talking about it. And I know that everyone listening in right now, you have your own challenges. You have your own things that you have gone through, experiences that you never thought you were going to get to the other side, and you have. You sharing your story could literally help someone else. It could help them save their life. It could help them save a lot of money. It could help them save a lot of time. It could help them create different relationships they didn't realize about it. But share your story. So let your test be your testimony. And recently, I was listening to another podcast, and it was actually about Sam Walton, right, from Walmart. And he was pushed to late in age. He was pushed by everyone in the family, all of the executives, for him to write the book, the Walmart Story book. And so in his autobiography, he literally completed it just weeks before he passed. He had been sick for a very long time. I believe he had blood cancer, but he finished his book. I don't think he saw it published. And when I heard that story, you know what it made me think is that there are so many people that build, grow, do all of these great things. And then they get to this older age and they're like, okay, I have made all the money. I've done all the things. Now what do I have? I have knowledge. I have wisdom. And that's what I want to share. And I'm here to actually challenge that we need to share now. Don't wait till the end. Don't wait till you achieve the big thing that's on your mind. Is that time is so valuable. And if you can help someone else now by sharing your test, you literally could be changing someone else's life. So I can't tell you this is one. Obviously, you can hear my passion behind it. Don't wait. Share what you are going through right now. And you have no idea. Even if it helps one person, it is worth it. All right. Two more. I hope you guys are sticking around here, but I've got two more for you. The next one, it's you are in control of you. I talk about this a lot. I've done this when I've done a keynote talking about you can control you. What can you control at the end of the day? You. And it's funny because I'm going to give you kind of two stories with this. Number one, I worked in dermatology for so long. I shared that before. And dermatology, it's your skin. It's such an incredible medical specialty. All the practitioners in it, highly trained. And so much of our skin, what is going on is our skin is internal. But another side of dermatology is all the cosmetic side, right? The fillers, the Botox, even plastic surgery, all of that is if you don't like something about you, or if there is something that you want to do, it is 100% in your control. So for me, as my eyes started getting, or excuse me, as my left eye started, once it goes blind, right? You're no longer using that. All the resources in your body start going to your other organs, like it was going to my good eye. My good eye is doing all of the work now for two eyes. And this eye had started atrophying, so it's getting smaller. It also started getting lazy. And so it would start to go out. And it's really funny because a lot of people are like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. It bothered me. And it bothered me because it would be very distracting when I'm talking to people because they're like, which eye is looking at me? As crazy as that sounds, it used to happen to me all the time. And so I sought out a pediatric surgeon who could do, I forget the name of the surgery. I can't believe I don't know this right now. That did the muscle surgery to shorten and lengthen the muscles to correct the eye so that it would more closely follow my other eye. And I shared this story because I was in control of me. There was something that I didn't like that my eye was doing. There is a solution for it. I sought out the best doctor, interviewed a couple, and then I paid cash to have this surgery done. Like, this is my example in sharing that you are in control of you. And so when it comes to your health, when it comes to your business, when it comes to anything, there are so many external things going on right now. I couldn't make the people not be rude when my eye was getting lazy. I couldn't make them not be rude. I definitely didn't let them have an effect on me. But what I found is that it was deterring from the conversations that I was having. I had control in that situation, and I sought out the eye surgeon to help me correct it. What that taught me is that it's like so free knowing that what you have control of what you do and don't do. And so all the time in business, things blow up. I mean, holy cow, especially in construction. I don't mean physically blow up, but there are fires that we're dealing with. All the different things that go on in your day, you can't always control those, right? But you can control how you react to them. And that is one of the biggest takeaways I can tell you from this happening with my eye is that I look at every situation, everything that comes by. Am I perfect? Hell no. But I can look really quick and be like, all right, how do I want to show up? What do I want to do? I can't change that person, but how am I going to present? How am I going to follow up? How am I going to deliver? That comes back to me. And that is so freeing and it's so energizing knowing that I have control of me and what I can do. That also comes back to your health, number one, that I talked about on the part one episode. So the ninth thing was making sure that you know that you are in control of you. So, so powerful. All right. Now, this last one, it's a little this one might be a little controversial. I'm okay with that. If you've been watching the show, or tuning in, you know that, but I truly believe that anger is a powerful weapon when it's used appropriately. And there were times that I was angry. There were like losing my eyesight, not being able to play catch with my kids, learning how to drive, learning how to ride my horses again, learning how to have the confidence to go back out, to stand up to people that were judging me, not letting it bother me, move on. Anger can be a very powerful weapon. And I know that everyone thinks like everything is great and we should all be happy and it's easy. Life is not easy. And sometimes you got to lean on a little anger, a little bit of your dark side to get going. Actually, I did an entire episode on this topic because it made so much sense to me when I read Relentless by Tim Grover. This was episode 158. We'll link it down in the notes for you, but it's titled Leveraging Your Dark Side for Good. And that's what I mean when I say anger is a powerful weapon when used appropriately. You know, I was really angry, as you can imagine, and I shared this more in part one, but I was really angry when the doctors at Mayo Clinic, looking back, they are a significant reason why I am blind, because there could have been a reversal, potential reversal. It's medicine. We're practicing medicine, but there could have been a potential reversal where I could have had my eye had actions been taken. So I was pretty angry at the doctors, as you can imagine, right? That being said, that anger for me turns into action. And so knowing now that I didn't control what I could control, right? When it came to the doctors, getting second opinions, pushing to get additional testing, pushing on taking control and using anger to help me get quicker appointments, follow up quicker, get to the end. All of that anger taught me how to be the best advocate for myself when it comes to my health and, of course, my career. I shared that in part one. And so when you can channel anger, now notice I was angry at these doctors. I was not resentful. I didn't hate them. I have no regrets. I am not, they are forgiven in my mind because they didn't know. I know what I had was unique. I was angry at what was happened, but I don't hold a grudge. I use that anger to help teach me the lessons that I needed to learn that I am still using to this day, 20 years later. And I know I am passing on these lessons to my children, and I will continue to use them as well. The other thing, about anger, and again, I shared a little bit more about this in episode 158, is it gets you into this zone. Tim Grover refers to it as your dark side. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they had a zone or a dark side that they would leverage to get them into this zone of focus that they played incredible games. I have now, again, this book just made so much sense to me. I understand that. And so when most fear anger, I lean into it. And that is something that I don't think I could have gotten through or learned that lesson, at least right now, right? To be able to leverage it, had I not gone through the anger with the doctors. It wasn't blame, it was anger because it was a lack of action. So that is what taught me, okay, when this happens, when someone doubts me, like in business, in my career, oh, this happened all the time. When someone would doubt me, I just turn that on. I smile. I don't get angry and lash out. I smile. I understand. I literally turn on into like an alter ego and I get in the zone and truly become unstoppable. And so understanding that anger is a powerful weapon is something that I wish more people would lean into. Is that sometimes that dark side, sometimes some of the bad things that happen to you are actually just catapults to get you to understand your emotions, to get focused, and to start taking action on what you want. And so that never happens again. And so, it's a little bit controversial. I'm okay with that, but this is my experience. And if you haven't read, if you've ever felt this, I encourage you, go ahead and grab Relentless by Tim Grover. We'll link that down in the notes too. I don't get any commissions on that. It's just good information. That if you want to learn a little bit more about your dark side, your anger, I think that is a great place to start. So I really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of my story here on the show. 20 years since going blind in my left eye. And I have more lessons, but these are the top 10 lessons that I have learned over the last 10 years from losing my eye that I applied to my life, my business, my career, my relationships, being a mother, being a wife, all of these different things. And I think when we have the opportunity to go through a trial like I did and still do to this day, I still run into walls. People still scare me when they come up on the left side. I don't see them. It still happens. I get reminded all the time about these lessons and what they've been able to do for my life. Thank you so much. If you found value in this, or if you know someone that's going through something, I invite you to share it with them. You can do it privately. You can send it on social media, tag me in it. Love to give all the love. Also, please, if this hits home with you, send me a DM. Let's start a conversation. If I can help you, you know I will. But thank you so much. And don't forget, keep taking more action no matter what comes in your way.